and the mystery of their whole region, and the mystery of all their invisibles, and all those who are in the 13th aeon, and the name of the 12 aeons, and of all their rulers, and their archangels, and all their angels, and all those who are in the 12 aeons, and the whole mystery of the names of all those who are in the fate, and all the heavens, and the whole mystery of the name of all those who are in the spheres, and of its firmament, and of all are in them, and of all their regions. Lo, therefore, we have sent thee this vesture, which no one knew from the first commandment downwards, for the glory of its light was hidden in it. And the spheres and all regions from the first commandment downwards have not known of it. Haste thee, therefore, clothe thyself with this vesture, and come unto us. For we draw nigh unto thee, to clothe thee by command of the first mystery, which thy two vestures, others which existed for thee from the beginning of the first mystery, until the time appointed by the ineffable is completed. Come, therefore, to us quickly, that we may put them on thee, until thou hast fulfilled the total ministry of the perfection of the first mystery which is appointed by the ineffable. Come, therefore, to us quickly, in order that we may clothe thee with them, according to the command of the first mystery. For yet a little while, a very little while, and thou shalt come unto us and leave the world. Come therefore quickly, that thou mayest receive thy whole glory, that is the glory of the first mystery. Chapter 11. Jesus putteth on his vesture. It came to pass then, when I saw the mystery of all these words in the vesture which was sent me, that straightway I clothed myself therewith, and I shone most exceedingly, and soared into the height. I came before the first gate of the firmament, shining most exceedingly, and there was no measure for the light which was about me. And the gates of the firmament were shaken one over against another, and all opened at once. And all rulers, and all authorities, and all angels therein were thrown all together in an agitation, because of the great light which was on me. And they gazed at the radiant vesture of the light with which I was clad. And they saw the mystery which contains their name, and they feared most exceedingly. And all their bonds with which they were bound were unloosed, and every left his order, and they all fell down before me, adored, and said, How hath the Lord of the universe passed through us without our knowing? And they all sang praises together to the interiors of the interiors. But me they say not, but they saw only the light. And they were in great fear, and were exceedingly agitated, and sang praises to the interior of the interiors. Chapter 12. He entereth the first sphere. And I left the region behind me, and ascended to the first sphere, shining most exceedingly, 49 times more brightly than I had shone in the firmament. It came to pass then, when I had reached the gate of the first sphere, that its gates were shaken and opened of themselves at once. I entered into the house of the sphere, shining most exceedingly, and there was no measure to the light that was about me. And all the rulers and all those who were in that sphere fell into agitation, one against another. And they saw the great light that was about me, and they gazed upon my vesture, and they saw therein the mystery of their name. And they fell into still greater agitation, and were great fear, saying, How hath the Lord of the universe passed through us without our knowing? And all their bonds were unloosed, and their regions and their orders, and every one left his order, and they fell down altogether, adored before me, or before my vesture, and all sang praises together to the interiors of the interiors, being in great fear and great agitation. Chapter 13. He entereth the second sphere. And I left the region behind me, and came to the gate of the second sphere, which is the fate. Then were all its gates thrown into agitation, and opened of themselves. And I entered into the houses of the fate, shining most exceedingly, and there was no measure for the light that was about me. For I shone in the fate 49 times more than in the first sphere. And all the rulers and all those who were in that fate were thrown into agitation, and fell on one another, and were exceedingly great fear on seeing the great light that was about me. And they gazed on my vesture of light, and saw the mystery of their name on my vesture, and fell into still greater agitation. And they were in great fear, saying, How hath the Lord of the universe passed through us without our knowing? And all the bonds of their regions, and all their orders, and all their houses were unloosed. They all came at once, fell down, adored me before, and sang praises altogether, to the interiors of the interiors, being in great fear and great agitation. Chapter 14. He entered the eons. And I left that region behind me, and ascended to the great eons of the rulers, and came before their veils and their gates, shining most exceedingly. And there was no measure for the light which was about me. It came to pass then, when I arrived at the 12 eons, that their veils and their gates were shaken one over against the other. Their veils drew themselves apart of their own accord, and their gates opened one over against the other. And I entered into the